Today I went to the Immersive Gamebox Studio, and it's kind of like a room of consequence, but in real life, the room of consequence from Adventures in Odyssey. It's pretty high tech. I got some footage and got to go behind the scenes, so we will be checking that out today. Also, while I was there, our usual teen of the week, Spinner, isn't going to be spun today because um, we have we have actual people that we actually saw who actually saw the ads that we paid good money for to run on our multiple student newspapers. So that is good that our ad dollars are actually making uh, money and not just throwing money into a pit and hoping it does something today. Also today is 9/20. That means it's the final day of my YouTube transcript download. So we're going to download all the transcripts, and the final transcript upload will be updated onto the website. I think the cutoff was May, so now it's going to be updated to September. So it's all the people who want to go find something stupid or critical. You now have an extra few months of podcast transcripts. Now, unfortunately for you, everything that I've ever said on this podcast is smart and good. So there is that. Today we're going to be talking about the iPhone 17 Air, um, and our new TheTechBoy.org website. We did 3 articles, as is custom. 3 articles Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I actually got to go hands on with the iPhone Air. It's a phone. It is pretty thin, but it doesn't make that much sense. In fact, in our video that we're going to watch today, spoiler alert, the iPhone Air, of course, fails the battery test. Not fails, but it does the worst of all the phones in the battery test, and it just it only lasted 7 hours in the test. Now, I don't know about my phone. My phone, for some reason, has a bad battery. But, the S24 Ultra and S25 Ultra, of course, have good batteries. It's just not mine. I never get the phones with good batteries, except for the A71 5G. But, that phone had the problem of not getting any signal after a year. So I had to, fix that because, it's a phone and we need it to work. All right, but I'm over here looking at my podcast notes. Oh yes, Discovery Mountain. Discovery Mountain. We're gonna get through all of our Instagram clips first, and then we'll get to the podcast clips first. So I want you guys to hear this clip from Discovery Mountain. I did overlay the United States former national anthem, "My Country 'Tis Thee," on top of this, just because it is so pivotal to this. But nothing has been edited except for the music that I added to the video. Hopefully, this doesn't get copyright stricken. But here we go.
Well, can I say something?
Yes, Cyrus, go ahead.
Discovery Mountain campers, someone has taken our flag. We will fight in the cafeteria. We will fight in the forest. We will fight in the air.
Cyrus.
We will defend this camp. Whatever the cost may be, we shall never surrender. Never surrender.
Campers, quiet, please.
So, Discovery Mountain has this new episode out. I know this comes from May, but anyway. Discovery Mountain, this is the second latest season of Discovery Mountain. For some reason, has this series of kids. It's this Discovery Mountain camp, which the one problem with Discovery Mountain is that Discovery Mountain exists in real time. So it is 2025 right now. It is 2025 in Discovery Mountain. So COVID happened in Discovery Mountain. Of course, this means the main character of Jamie just kind of apparently capitalism is bad and she can't sell stuff in Australia. That was an entire thing. So they wrote her off the show. And now it's a whole bunch of other new kids here. This is one of the older kids. And Discovery Mountain is usually the only camp, but now there's this new camp called Wilderness Camp, and it had this bad kid named Holly or Hazel or something like that. And she stole their flag for some reason and posted it above the ranger station. This happens later in the season. She also steals some binoculars, some bug spray. She just goes into the camp and steals everything. It's not Harold this time. It's this other random kid that they call Raven. Because I guess her hair is black. And for some reason, she steals their flag one time, puts it up in the trees, in the bushes, and they have to go get the flag. And that's why he's giving this speech that he just came up with randomly. And then the second time, they host the flag above the ranger station. And instead of the adults being like, hey guys, Someone stole a flag and is flying over the ranger station. We obviously know who did this. All the rangers know who did this. The people in Discovery Mountain know who did this, except for the kids, because they are doing the story of Gideon. Instead of, oh, I don't know, someone calls the United States Forest Ranger place. Okay, this is a government building. They call the Forest Ranger place, and they're like, hey, you stole our flag, and one of your students stole our stuff. Give it back. Nah. Do you know what they do? They say, hey, kid, Cyrus, you gave this nice speech that you obviously stole from Winston Churchill. We want you and 10 kids to lead a band around the Discovery Mountain camp and make a lot of noise. And you know how in Gideon they had the flashlights and the trumpets and the Midianites started killing each other because they got scared or whatever. Yeah. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to surround this building. You're actually going to storm the ranger station that has like 10 kids in it. 2 of the kids defect over to Discovery Mountain side, so it's 8 kids inside. None of them know what's going on. You're going to blow your kazoo that you use in your Bible play so you can go steal back your flag? I'm sorry, in what universe does that even make sense? Honestly, what is this nonsense? They are retconning so hard. The Discovery Mountain, instead of having an imagination station, they just say, oh, well, the air is clear. They're actually selling one of the, not selling, they're building some cabins for people who are homeless, and the churches in the city did that, but Discovery Mountain was like, we're going to build our own cabins because we have clear air here, and, clear air is better than the city life. And it's really funny because in the next season, in the season where it happens, you also have the kids from Discovery Mountain going over to another town called Grizzly to go to a beat up, bedraggled bowling alley, and he's acting like it's the coolest thing he's ever seen. So, if this kid is acting like going to the bowling alley is like going to the White House or some amusement park, it's kind of sad and kind of shows the state of your town. But I digress. They have this clear air, and this clear air apparently means that they can imagine stuff and imagine Bible stories. And that's still at camp. Then they do the Bible stories, and it somehow parallels with real life. In what universe would any camp say, hey kids, this rival camp over here, the U.S. Forest Ranger camp has your flag. So we're going to send a bunch of kids into the forest, and you're going to blow a kazoo, and then you're going to storm the Forest Ranger station and steal back your flag, because this is going to teach you a lesson about courage, and it links into the Bible. No camp on planet Earth would ever do this. Like, ever. Like that makes zero sense. None. Like, you could just call for the flag back. And I know the enemy, but she has a point. She was like, would you please stop with the theatrics? I'll go up there and get your flag. Put the kazoo down. Like, and then she runs away, and then she gets like chased to the woods, and then she gets tackled, and then they send her to juvie, which is great. But also, they could have sent her to juvie anytime. What if she actually ran away? What if she actually did get away? Because you entrusted her arrest to a bunch of kids in the forest with kazoos. Now, as a person who's been chased in the forest, I'm an expert on that. I wouldn't trust my security to an iPhone Air, let alone to a bunch of kids in the forest with some kazoos. That doesn't make sense. I mean, as much fun as this would be, this makes less sense than the SSA-LTW book. A book in which there was a Nerf gun rally attack, and in a book in which you have a communist running for student council president. That book is 10 times more realistic than a bunch of kids running around the forest in kazoos going up to go steal back their flag that apparently they all care about so much. And like, if this person is so bad, why didn't she steal the U.S. or Canadian flag? Because apparently Discovery Mountain is Mr. Simon. I think he's from Canada or something, and he founded the town back in 1967, which was a plot point that has been driven home for the past, 10 seasons, the first 10 seasons. So when they had this entire, oh, wow, he didn't pay any federal taxes in 1967. Okay, bro. We all knew what the cliffhanger was. We all knew it. No one was sitting there for a week going, oh, I wonder why. They tried to arrest him on IRS charges, and it was obviously fake. And everyone knew it because, he wasn't even in the country. So, That's not a real cliffhanger. But why does he still need another flag? He just stole the Discovery Mountain camp flag that the kids apparently all like for some reason. Like, I mean, it's a nice flag, I guess, but I mean, these kids literally wanted to, all of them, like, just go beat up whoever did it. Like, they had to be calmed down or something like that. It's such a retcon. But yeah, that is Discovery Mountain. Great season, great season. Very inspiring, very fun, just very unrealistic. Um, of course, in Discovery Mountain, there's a clip of this guy. He used to be an Olympic athlete, and this is in the season afterwards. I think no, this is in the camp season. Yeah, 2 years before, and as you know, Discovery Mountain is in real time. So 2 years before was actually in 2023. So the camp episodes air around summertime. The school episodes they just went back to school air around August and September. So Discovery Mountain's in real time, which kind of means that Mr. Simon's probably going to die off in the next 10 seasons or something. They do like 2 or 3 seasons a year, so that's probably 2 or 3 years. I mean, poor guy. But anyway, in this season, there's the camp director's brother is coming back. The camp director's brother 2 years ago was just an idiot. He kept baby lion, cougar, some sort of wild animal, mountain lion. Yeah, that's what it was. Mountain lion cubs in his house. Like, bro, what are you doing? What a bum, honestly. What? He kept them in his camp house, and because of this, they escaped and they got them trapped inside of a cave-in. It's terrible. So this guy, he's also drinking like lots of soda in camp. He leaves them all over his, I guess, his cabin. He's just a mess. So he leaves the camp. He apologizes. He comes back, and his sister's like, "Oh well, he got off of social media and something like that." And of course, we go back to the Christianity, thing. They're like, "Oh, social media, oh, it's bad, whatever." I mean, they got to throw that in there. The advertisers, I don't know if they have advertisers, but I mean, if they did, I mean that's probably in their contract. I mean, if you don't have that in an episode, I mean, what are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing as a company? It's just really sad if you think about that. But of course, they had to put that in there. And I'm going to have, I guess this might be controversial take here or something like this. But I'm not against it. Okay? See, some people are going to say this like, oh, well, yeah, he's against this. He doesn't believe it. No, I'm actually all for this. Is that, some of those people online and in person at church are faking. We all know it. Okay? Like, fool. You're posting like a picture and you look up like this, like, okay, kid, you're posing. You're playing for the cameras, and some people will be like, hey, that's bad. I'm against it. It's not good. No. I'm all for that. Think about it. If you actually believe it, but you play for the cameras, bring in the clicks. You're standing for something that you believe in, but you're actually actively playing for the cameras instead of just posting something boring like, I don't know, a square of cheese. Or these people, absolutely jumping around. I mean, it was insane. I have never seen anything like this. There should be a video about like this online. I mean, absolutely on the stage Wednesday, doing spins, spins. I have never seen anything like that in my life. I mean, the video's not even sped up, and it was insane. I mean, it was insanely fun too. And do I actually believe that the people sitting around there are, like that just happens naturally? No one spins like that naturally. Okay, you have to work for that. Do I think that the people there are like faking sometimes? Yes, I do. But is that a bad thing? Like maybe some people would say in the episode if they would expound, or like someone would write some 100,000 word article about how people are fake. No. Like everyone's like, be authentic. It's a trend. Be authentic. No. I mean, everyone who says that is obviously faking. I mean, it's a trend. You can look it up. It's probably like #authentic or something like that. if that's a trend, or if that's a hashtag, then it's obviously fake. And people who fall for this, I don't know how you're falling for this. Like, come on, come on, people, who's falling for this nonsense? Like, honestly. But like, if you acknowledge that it's fake, and you say, okay, good on them for utilizing this, then as long as they're not doing anything wrong, I'm all for it. I'm all for winning. Just like Kayla from Kids Corner. Kayla from Kids Corner was faking like some accent like her favorite singer, and because for some reason in Terrain they just let random sixth grade radio hosts go into celebrity events, she was able to meet Raylene and fake her way to the top to become one of her backup singers until she got fired. But the message was, hey guys, don't be fake, be true, I guess, to yourself or whatever. But like the singer who was faking was popular and powerful, and the Kayla, who was a random sixth grader from off the street on Friday, was able to meet up with her on Saturday. Is that supposed to be a message about not faking? Because it really seems that faking is a great way to do stuff. I mean, it's a great way to I guess become powerful or to or popular or to meet your what you called idol. I mean, good on her for that, honestly, and then good on everyone else who is obviously faking. More on this next week. But anyway, we're going to cut over to our tech headlines from TheTechBoy.org. All right, and we're going to talk about something more again. Maybe we'll cut over to the faking thing again. And here you go. Top 6 apps for Christian teens, apps and websites, plus one bonus one. Gotquestions.org. Or ministries. Is the org or com? Whatever. Got Questions is great, and they have their own website, 412 Teens. And I thought we'd compare some of their articles against each other. So I'm going to go over to Got Questions, and I know Christy Lamont is going to cry about this, but whatever. I was going to go over this. Gotquestions.org. It's a great website. Honestly, top 10 websites ever built. You have these random stuff here. You have like hundreds, thousands of questions here. 10,066 questions available. 16.3 million page views, which is amazing. All these Bible answers and question responses. They gave email responses. You have random stuff here, and they also have their own mobile application. It's great. It's amazing. And other than a few stances that I don't personally agree with, their website is amazing. And here is the 412 Teens website, which is a teen website. So it has a few less articles, but it does do a few edits here as well. Because if I were to look up, oh man, we're gonna have to edit that. So I'm just gonna, there we go. Because I don't want the autofill to, yeah, there we go. All right, here we go. So the 412 Teens search is slightly different than the, I'm not sharing anymore. It's slightly different than the Got Questions search. Anyway, this is Got Questions search. I'm going to type in the same topic. Just make sure something pops up, like personal information. All right, there you go. So if you were to type in, I guess, one of those gray areas here into Got Questions versus 412 Teens, because obviously, Got Questions.org is not going to say stealing is okay, and then 412 Teens is going to say, no, stealing's actually bad. No, that's not how this works. So let me see. They don't have anything. Ah, there it is. And here's the 412 Teens article here. So we have these two articles here. Christian Marge is going to say no and no, but whatever. So we'll go over to the same topic here. What does it mean to dress modestly from the Got Questions website? And this is the what does it mean to dress modestly from the 412 Teens website. Now, it is about the same thing, but they do do a few different changes here as well. First of all, there's no, it looks like it's a different video here as well. And they go in, it looks like they have a bit more information. And with the 412 Teens website, they kind of give it more information, I guess, for the teens here. They actually do link over into this as well. Actually, on this tab, I think it's interesting because it's a different writer. The different writer he says that it's he or she. I don't know who the writer is. They don't do names because they say it's not. I think anyway. If you would read this article, they're like, oh, I'm not for it, but there's no votes against it or something like that. But over on GQ, it's like, oh, it's fine, whatever. But they do give a long-winded answer as well. But 412 Teens, they do have some more, I guess, teen-centric articles here as well. And they have an Instagram account and a Discord chat room that is moderated. There's not that many people in there, but it's nice. Unfortunately, there's no 412 Teens application, and if you want to access the 412 Teens, you have to use the archive here so you can see all your questions here. It's mostly the same over on Got Questions. If you don't have, if the question's not on 412 Teens, because there's not as many articles, and you have to click over to Got Questions. But 412 Teens, that's Got Questions, takes the #1 top. It's a great resource, great website. Anyway, Keys for Kids Radio, I was interviewed on there as well. They have their own application. Unfortunately, keysforkids.net is now down, does not work anymore. So, all the kids that they said, oh, go ask your parents if you want to go access keysforkids.net, it doesn't work anymore. You have to go use radio.keysforkids.org. Anyway, they also have their own devotional unlocked, as well as a devotional application unlocked, and the Keys for Kids radio application if you want to listen to the radio station. It is a bit buggy, but the Keys for Kids radio, radio.keysforkids.org has the on-demand programs, which is great. So we have Keys for Kids, the devotional, Dunkin' Lane, Base Camp Adventures, Red Rock Mysteries, Positive Tells, Kids Corner, which we were talking about, The Pond, Karen and Kids, and We Kids. RIP to We Kids. It went off the air like last year, 2 years ago, something like that. Rated.org. Everyone knew I was going to put that there. This will probably get cut to rated.org. Make sure you guys check out that website, theinventionodyssey.com/the Invention Odyssey app. If you have the club, great application. You can access the greatest audio drama of all time. You have fun stories, spy thrillers. You have every single album that's been put on there if you pay for the club. And, of course, you have the Last Chance Detective videos and your comic strips. And you can download them if you also pay for the club. If you do not pay for the club, you will get what's on the radio schedule, what happened like a few days before. And you can still access some of the comic strips as well as they are posted to the official Adventures in Odyssey Instagram account. All right. The Focus on the Family store. So the Focus on the Family store is great. If you go over to Focus on the Family, and that's actually where I found that guy that we were talking about, how he was talking about, how he took out his kids to the mall and then he went there and talked to them about modesty or something. If they saw something that was kind of funny. But anyway, this is the Focus on the Family store. And what you want to do here is you go to the store.focusonthefamily.com, you go to teen.ya, and I'm a teen boy over here, though, I've never read a Brio magazine, but I can probably predict what's inside of it. I'm a great predictor. In fact, in a different Christian teen Discord chat, I actually predicted someone's favorite book, of course, the Bible, and their favorite book in the Bible. And I also predicted what they were going to say next. So I was 2-0 on all of that. So great at prediction stuff as well. All that to say is I probably don't have to read a Brio magazine to know what's inside of a Brio magazine. But it would be great, to have intelligence on the other side. Now, of course, to be granted, it'd be like 10% of what the other side is doing because, the people that read the Brio magazines aren't the people that we interact with in real life. So, it's kind of a trade-off there as well. I mean, that's kind of why, if you think about how SSA transferred from a spy agency, of course, back in 2019, 2020, to like some sort of religious War III agency over here, of course, in the famous 2022 presidential, not debate, but press conference, and all that nonsense, like in evangelical War III over here, right? We were not coded for that, and it's kind of, if you think about the policy that we were running here at the time, before November, like September, around September-ish is when we started doing the videos and the podcast, and of course we became public. But before that, I mean, it was just like, it was a train wreck of policy. Okay, it's just train wreck over here. No one reading the website, and before we started engaging with the fans. But I mean, absolute train wreck, because we were not coded to, we would, oh, the spy agencies over here. We're not coded over here to become the next, I guess, evangelist over here on school property. That's not how this works. Uh, all this to say is that this information is not really going to help you in, I guess, the real world. The information that you would see from there would come from, what's that book? Is that book about the kid who spied on that kid through the window? I did a video about her. Well, she's not real, but oh yeah, How to Be Popular by Meg Cabot. Yeah, that was the book. Anyway, here's the teen and young adult section. I don't know why they call it young adult literature. Whatever it is called, young adult literature is what actually was 13 and up, which is really weird. Like, well, you're not even an adult. You can't vote. You can't even vote in the high school election if you're 13. So why is it called that? But whatever. Here are the books for teen boys. Interesting stuff here. They have some older books like The Hobbit and uh, what's that other book? Lord of the Rings. That's really popular. It's not the same book, is it? Of course, they have like some identity book, which again I could predict what is in that book. Okay, like if I had a nickel for every time I have heard an identity message, I have I'd be a billionaire. Like, like there's so much in those books. Like, goodness gracious, what are people doing? Anyway, and then you can search over here. I'm going to search for fiction. I like fiction a lot. Um, would that be under format? Oh yes, I want a book. Oh, okay. Wouldn't that be called hardback? I don't know what they're doing. Where's fiction in series? They have a. Of course they do. Of course they do. um. Okay, so I don't know why it's not giving. Oh yeah, got. There used to be fiction like a teen Bibles, 14 boys. Oh, there it is. Teen fiction. There's the teen fiction section. The Battle of Lion Rock. Let's see what these books are about. Apparently, this is fiction. Why is it discovering identity of fiction? Like, is he going to give? Is it like Average Boy? From the very first page, it's the supernatural thriller. I'm not really interested. Like, I like the books that I read, if they're fictional, of course, to be like realistic, like something that could happen to me, like maybe a little static, like not actually could happen, but like in the hyper theoretical universe could happen, like like technically everything that happened in the SSALTW book could happen. I mean, it is technically possible someone to give a student council rally and someone shoots Nerf bullets at you. It is technically possible to come out to a fog machine and wave to the crowd before the volleyball game. It is technically possible that some random crazy person would run for student council president. It is technically possible that all of this happened. Is this technically possible that like aliens would invade Earth, or like when Base Camp Adventures went to a different universe planet and got sucked into a portal? Like it was the E-Kids audio drama, which was just totally like sci-fi. No, it's not possible. That can't happen to you. And also when you have a super genius of like 9 years old who's getting sucked into outer space, like what? Nonsense. All right, the Life Bible. Now I know some people thought I was going to do the Universal Bible app, but one, everyone picks that app, and if I want the website to stand out and pop up the number one in SEO, that's why it got picks. Yes, people. I curate the content so that it gets clicks. Not just it's not charity over here. But the Life Bible application, I did a full review of that before. The Life Bible application is pretty good. So you have questions in it, which I do like, because if you hypothetically are in the middle of some, well, actually, unless you're in Texas, sorry kids, you can't use this app because no phone. But if you would turn back time and go back to 2022, you have all these questions here. You have about 400 something questions, so not as many as got questions, but it's right here into the application. And so there's something in here. You got questions about appropriate. I don't know. Okay, apparently it has the dictionary definition of appropriate. And then you get some other questions. Looks like 7 of them about how can you know what is appropriate? How can I know what is inappropriate? What thoughts are appropriate? What is appropriate? Okay, that is an annoying word. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's move on to a question that someone might actually have. Blasphemy. Yes, Stephen A. Smith. Anyway, blasphemy refers to words and actions that fell to give God the honor He deserves, and it gives you an overview of blasphemy, and then it tells you what it is, and you have like 7 more questions you can ask about there as well. Also, one reason I also did pick this application is that you can choose what color you want to be picked. So all you have to do to highlight. So here we are on 1 Timothy 2:6 and 7, and you can see that the verse is highlighted, and what you do is you click here, and then you can click whatever there, and you can choose like the direct color that you want. Um, you can optimize for readability or not, and you can even type in your hex RGB color. Now, the YouVersion Bible app used to do that, but now it does not for some reason. So it is great that you can choose the exact color that you want. Now, is that pretty useful? No, not really. I mean, no one's gonna be coming in here being like, "Hey guys, look at my Bible. You have my colors in #8059FF, and yours is in 7951FF. That is a disgrace. You are heathen. Depart from me." No one's gonna say that. That's no one cares what the hex color of your Bible app is. And bonus one, Instagram. Of course, you have your Bible verses, your images, and your memes, and of course, you have your people up there, waving your hands and giving out their Bible advice, and just basically integrating it as part of their brand. And it's so smart, even if some of them are faking it. It is so smart. Think about it. Think about it. And this is not an attack on her. I mean, it is a great video. A great video. I will forever reiterate this. But not even video, just a photo. You got the school niche, you got the you got the I guess girl niche or whatever. You got the Bible niche all going in at one place. Instant skyrocketing. See, the account said it was made in 2020, but nothing was posted since there are 13 pictures, might be 14 or 15 now, 6K followers. There's something going on here, and it is obviously working. It is obviously working here. And you have your Bible knowledge, you got your verses and bios, you got your strategically placed images and your captions and stories. Teen powerhouse. And it's great. It's great. All for it. But you just know I'm not falling for anything. Okay, not her in particular. Just I'm saying general people. I'm not falling. I'm not falling for that. Okay, like no one falls for this nonsense. Anyway, on to the next topic. Of course, I forgot to mention this. I've criticized the Department of Justice for going after Google. They dropped the suit, so congratulations to them on that. Oh, the Meta glasses. I got to try those out today. Pretty nice. You can take a picture. Not the Meta glasses with the color with the screen, but the old ones. You can take a picture. Only $300. You can take pictures. You can check your messages. Like in your ear, like headphones. So it's essentially being likely saying, "Hey Google, tell me what's in my messages if I had earbuds in." So it's not gonna show up in augmented reality like the what on earth? I'm gonna zoom in because here we go. Man, be careful when you show your screen. Here we go. Augmented reality. Now I didn't go hands on with these. I went hands on with the other one. So just this with no screen. It had a camera. The pictures looked very good. It corrected well. It had some sort of curvature, but in a few seconds, the phone had the picture corrected out into like a normal flat image, which was great. And we're going to talk about the Wolf Marion High School news video. My goodness, it looks very high tech. I'm going to save that to the watch later because that might go to the Teen of the Week. Who knows? Maybe we'll get some advertising dollars out of them. They'll get advertising dollars out of us as well. So, great stuff coming out of there. But let's go turn to the Mr. Who's the Boss YouTube channel, and we'll start our Teen of the Week video. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about before we do this is that people are just so critical of me. So there's this video of people throwing a what did they throw off? A freaking what was it? A couch? I don't know what it was. A couch. Yeah, like an actual couch seat from the second floor of the mall. And of course, I condemn this. It's stupid. You shouldn't be throwing. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you shouldn't be throwing couches from the second floor of the mall. You shouldn't be throwing couches. Period. But don't throw couches, kids. But it's funny. Now, should these people be locked up? Yes. Yes, lock them up. People who throw couches off of buildings should be locked up. I'm all for that. I mean, I'm for locking up people who steal candy bars. Okay? Just like don't steal. But also don't throw couches off the second floor of a mall. Okay? I am forever reiterating that. Don't do this. This is not I'm not going out telling the one person watching this to go throw a couch off a building. I'm not telling you to do that, okay? But if you do it, and if someone uploads it, it is funny, okay? Now, could someone have gotten hurt? Yes, but imagine you were walking under there and you just like playing, you're just looking down at your phone, you're talking to your friend, and all of a sudden a couch out of nowhere just falls out of the sky and lands 5 feet next to you. Like that's just ironically funny. Like that is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Imagine if, imagine you see this happening. You can't do anything to stop it. Once an item is in motion, it will stay in motion until a force acts upon it. And in this case, the force is gravity. So you can't really do anything. Imagine you see this. This is person holding up a couch like they hold over that girl in Clueless over the edge of the railing. Like, what the heck? How many people are dying in this movie? Goodness gracious! Like the poor girl got like held at gunpoint, or she can flung over the side of the railing. Like what universe does this even happen? Or whatever. You see people holding up, and this actually happened, and that's just for some sort of skit, and everyone is an actor, which would be really weird because there's a horrible video called. They pick up the couch and they just fling it over the edge, and you're like, what are you doing? And like you don't even have any protocol for this. I mean, you might have a protocol for getting chased behind the woods. You might have a protocol for running for president and you get asked about random questions. You might have a protocol for if, a helicopter. Oh, yeah, I saw this one kid. If he landed on his school's prom from a helicopter and he had his girlfriend come out with them. Okay, so, you might have protocol for that. But no one has a protocol for, hey, what would I do if an ottoman just fell in the middle of the mall, in the middle of the food court on the first floor. Like that's just hilarious. Imagine the mall, the ottoman is circular, it's rolling down the stairs, bowling over people like it's a video game, and people are like running away, screaming for their life. That's hilarious. It's hilarious. You shouldn't be doing this, but it's absolutely hilarious. And people said it's not hilarious. You have no sense of humor. Yes, it's wrong, but it's absolutely funny. Like there are a lot of things that I support just because they're funny. I don't support this, but like, there are a lot of things that happen in life that are just funny. Like that's just funny. Like hilarious. So I did a poll. 90% of people said that a couch falling off the railing and someone flinging a couch off the railing would not be funny. Which I can see. I say that it is. I contend that it is. I'm not going to drop it. But 52% of the same people said that a couch falling on my head would be funny. Oh, so it's funny. It's not funny if it just doesn't hit some random person. However, I'm just walking by. It's funny. Now, apart from the spinal and neck injuries that I would get, I would have voted yes in both of those polls. I say yes, a couch falling over the railing is funny, and yes, a couch falling on my head would be hilarious. Now, I'm not advocating for that, but that's hilarious in both cases. So, I'm not the hypocrite. You guys are. It is a near 40% swing. 90-10 split over here. People be like a couch falling on someone else's head isn't funny, but 40% we say that couch falling on my head is funny. 40 extra percent. The majority of people, this is an actual stat. The majority of people in America believe that a couch falling on my head would be funny. It's like, what did I ever do to you people? Anyway. That's just wrong. Like, I mean, if you're gonna vote no in the first poll, you should vote no in the second one, or vote yes in the first one, but vote no because someone actually got hurt in the second one, or vote yes in both, but no yes. That's just wrong. That's just wrong, people. You shouldn't. It's criminal behavior. I mean, that's like saying that car crashes aren't funny, but if I got in a car crash, that'd be hilarious. You'd watch it on stream multiple times. You'd you'd have it saved in your bookmarks. Which, I mean, if you did that, hopefully it's uploaded to my own channel, so at least I get the clicks from that, so I can afford crutches. So, there is that. Anyway, here's the Mr. Who's the Boss iPhone video where he's going to compare their battery life. Man, look at this. Look at all these like faces here and all these phones. And then he also has the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra in there as a control.
These are the iPhone 17s, and this should...
What? It's ridiculous here. He didn't get the Orange Pro Max. Sad. Which they didn't even have that at the Apple Store. I went hands-on with that. As I said, the iPhone 17, iPhone Air, absolutely useless. What a useless phone. Useless. There's not one reason for this phone to exist. We already went over the very fringe issue. The very fringe issue that my S22 Plus handled just fine. So, useless phone here. Useless. And the entire phone is apparently in the back of the camera. But anyway, that's enough iPhone Air roasting. Because this phone is about to get roasted over an open fire. Even more roasted than those poor girls who just like, they took a picture, they stood there, and they got destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. It was horrible. It was funny. See? It was funny. It was horrible for them, but it was funny for me. And, I got, clicks off there. And as you guys know, the motto of this company is controversy drives clicks. And clicks is what we want, including the keyboard case. It probably supports my S24 Ultra, but it's $150. I'm not sure if I want to spend $150 non-refundable dollars on a case that may or may not support my phone, especially when I might change a phone. Like $150 in 3 years, we'll probably be able to afford half of an S25 Ultra, which has less features than S24 Ultra. Honestly, no Bluetooth S Pen. So if I were to buy anything, I probably won't buy a case. So it would be great. I have my battery case. Essential because my phone dies for some reason. 10,000 milliamp hours in here. And of course I have my phone. But if I had this in my Clicks keyboard case, and I was just slapping this on, had this in like a bag or something, slapping this on, having it in a bag or something, it becomes like the modular phone. In 2018, I did a project about 5G. No, 2019. Yeah, 5G. 2018 exists. About the Motorola phones and the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus 5G. Of course, had ceramics so that the signals get through better. But the Motorola phones had their own like battery pack. It had their own 5G antenna that you had to add to the phone, which is kind of funny because now you can get a 5G phone from Home Depot. You can get a 5G phone from Staples. Okay, like this is what I was talking about. How people are like, oh, parental control application would have stopped this. No, okay, you can get a phone from like CVS or Walgreens if it's in a nice enough area, and it'll have 5G. So that really shows how far we have come. But it would be nice if I had a few more accessories like this. Maybe a battery pack, maybe not a camera pack. Now this iPhone needs a camera pack, in my opinion. Like only 40 times zoom on this phone? That is a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. You should have 100 times zoom. Should be federal law. If you're going to brand your phone as Pro or Ultra, if it's the top of the line, at least 100 times zoom. I mean, come on. CIA can't even use his phone. Now, CIA definitely should not be using this. If I was the CIA, which phone would I pick? I'm not picking that bright orange phone. Mr. The Boss himself said that people have come up and just wanted to talk to him about the phone, which really shows that this redesign is just really growing on people. The iPhone Air, actually, first, you should not be using that if you are in the government. I mean, government ban TikTok, the government on government devices, some sort of deal may be extending. So, fun, I guess. Congratulations, Teen Pack. But you should not be using this. Okay. I don't care if you get chased behind the woods once a week and you have to stick a phone under the door. Don't get chased. Like, even I tried to avoid getting chased. Now, did it work? No, because. But I mean, the iPhone Air didn't exist for me. I mean, if you need a super skinny phone, it's not even the skinniest phone. The Vivo X5 is skinnier. So, and yes, it's from 2014, but like, all you're doing is like calling, texting, WhatsApp, and you'll be fine.
should be one of the most interesting years for battery life ever. Because on one hand, you got this new iPhone Air, which is so thin it looks like it's going to last about 12 minutes. But then on the other hand, you've got the 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, which
You got these military-grade phones over here.
Apple say offer an enormous leap in battery life. So let's find out how each of the new phones compare against each other. So that's the iPhone 17 Pro Max, the 17 Pro, the Air, and then the base 17. How they compare to last year, for which we've got the top-end 16.
And notice how the 17, oh, I almost got this wrong. The 17 Pro looks exactly like the 16, but the 17 and the 16 just exactly the same. Can't even tell.
Pro Max, and then the base 16, and then finally how they compare to Samsung with their flagship S25 Ultra. We'll make this as close as possible to how I would.
Alright, so here are the apps that he has on his phone currently right now. They're on every phone. Looks like some game app. I cannot tell what it is. ChatGPT, the voice memos application, Spotify, the camera, which I actually saw the camera application in story. Kind of look weird. Looks like some other game. X, Instagram, Slack, and YouTube, and he's all showing their battery lives on here now. Samsung might have the advantage here because it has the smaller battery life widget. I'm not sure. Also, very interesting to see that Samsung and Apple both have the same thing here. I wish it could show like one thing without these extra empty circles here. It's kind of like a subtle advertising, like, hey guys, buy our Bluetooth headphones, buy our watch, buy our, what would the fourth thing be? Bluetooth headphones, watch, and of course your phone. Maybe Samsung would probably show the S Pen. The iPhone, what other iPhone accessories are there? Why is this on full? Watch? Maybe your iPad? Is it getting data from that? That's weird.
I would actually use my phone in a real day. So,
all right, so
let's
starting off with some YouTube.
Start off by following along to a workout from my favorite gym YouTuber. And there's a pretty clear.
It's kind of weird to think, like, doesn't this guy have, like, he has lots of TVs. He has one of the smartest, like, gym rooms. He has the Peloton bike. Like, why are you watching this on your phone?
Phone that I'm rooting for. This one, the base iPhone 17. Because this guy has already inherited just about every previously pro iPhone feature you could want. So if it also has pro battery life, then, I mean, that's it. Almost.
I mean, yeah, but the pro iPhone features that it inherited, other than, of course, the zoom, is ProMotion and, like, that's it. Like, I mean, of course, USB-C, but that was already on the phones. Like, any Android phone from 5 years ago would have been able to do that. That's not pro. No one's running around here calling the Samsung Galaxy S20 a pro phone in the year 2025. No one is doing that. Okay, the iPhone isn't even caught up to that phone yet. Like, the chip is more powerful, but the cameras? Samsung has a zoom cam on there. Samsung has DeX on there. You can't even catch up to a phone from 5 years ago? Embarrassing.
No one ever needs to spend more to buy a Pro again. Okay, that's our gym session done. It's actually been a full hour since we
So let's look at this. An hour life of battery, 100%, obviously faking. Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, 5 Ultra at 96%, and the iPhone, what is this, Air at 97%? Oh my goodness.
Unplug the phones. So there is absolutely no way that the 17 Pro Max and the 16 Pro Max over here are not lying to me right now with this 100% remaining figure. Get out of here. But it's definitely too early to draw any kind of conclusions. So let's jump over to Slack. This is what we use in our team to talk to each other. I'm going to ask everyone to compliment or roast the iPhone 17 phones.
Roast them.
Your choice. And while we wait to see if a single person decides to compliment, we should talk about the elephant in the room with this generation. The iPhone 17 Pro and the Pro Max are now different depending on which country you buy them in. So some countries like the US will sell the eSIM only versions.
Which is very sad. It should be an option. Personally, just a switch. It'd be a lot harder if you wanted to use the application. Also, it's a lot harder to hack, which is sad. But at least you do know that they have a smartphone, which means you can, I guess, send them a link. Because, there's no eSIM only, like, flip phone that I know of. So that is good, I guess, if you wanted to hack a phone.
And others will sell the physical SIM versions, which we've had before, but the difference this time is that the eSIM versions actually have a larger battery capacity, about 5.5% bigger for the Pro Max and almost 7% on the normal size Pro. And to be fair,
it's like 200 milliamp hours, right? I mean, it's nothing.
I think in concept, this is great. I totally get why Apple is so keen to axe physical SIMs. Like, the only benefit of them is that they make it a bit easier to switch from one phone to the next for some people. But in a modern 2025 flagship phone, where most other things are being optimized on like a nanometer level, it does feel pretty wasteful to have this random large chunk of plastic, which needs its own SIM tray and SIM reader and housing. And the difference in battery you're getting by removing this stuff, 5.5% and 7%, these are pretty enormous numbers. Like, that's actually bigger than the average difference in battery capacity between generations of iPhone. Okay, that's probably enough of Slack. It's getting a little weird in here. So let's flick over to some lunchtime Instagram doom scrolling. Now, one thing to pay attention to is if we look at current battery.
In battery.
Hi guys. I'm biggest fan.
Sorry, I'm getting some feedback in the audio. Let's see what the chat is saying.
TechBoy.
Wow, we got some questions here.
Subscribe to him right now.
So A is saying, hi TechBoy, did you guys get the iPhone 17 Pro, the Pixel 10 Pro? Obviously, I'm going to recommend the Android phone above all. The Pixel 10 Pro above the iPhone 17 Pro. I mean, just think about this. You get a much better operating system, for one. The cameras, they should be about the same. You get Gemini AI Pro, and not having to log into like some student account, which is ridiculous. I mean, like anyone from the college could just access your, I guess, Gemini prompts and search history. They could delete it at any time they want to. I mean, why would you do that? Like, you're just gonna let some random college have access to your computer? That doesn't make sense. But with the Google Pixel 10 Pro, you get your credits like that. You get video boost. You even get access to Veo, which is amazing. You know, Veo used to be around $250 a month, and just handing those out for the Pixel 10 Pro, which would, if you use it enough, be worth more than the phone itself. $250 a month times 12 months versus $1,000. Doesn't take a genius to know that that would be a lot more money, or like twice as much money even. And of course, I think you get some workspace credits as well. Google's AI is better. Now, I do not like Pixel's UI, but you can install your own launchers. You can, of course, install your APKs. You have a much better access to applications outside of the App Store. You know, if you want to get something from GitHub or APK Pure. Now, for the messaging application, unfortunately, you're stuck with Google Messages, which is a trash application, up there with iMessage even. Like, the search function is horrible, etc. Samsung Messages is better. Hopefully someone fixes that. But, you know, you got a great camera. You're not stuck with the iPhone. And you get your Google AI Pro credits, at least on some of the phones. So I would say get the Pixel 10 Pro all the way. Now, the Pixel 10 Pro is underpowered compared to the iPhone 17 Pro, but unless you're editing like a feature-length movie over here, or like I don't even know what you're doing, like mining Bitcoin with your phone. Like, what are you doing with your phones, people? Most people just use like, you know, I'm going to scroll TikTok, Instagram. I want to text my friends. I want to take some good photos over here. Okay, like it's not like you're running the GPU accelerated version of you know, what's that design program called that Photoshop makes? Whatever Photoshop makes for the design program. Okay, like, yeah, I know that it requires a GPU, but I mean, come on, people. This is nonsense. You do not need all that power. Now, I'm for having all the power that you need, right? If I was comparing this to the Samsung phone, I say I want the Samsung phone to have more power because that's great. But, you know, the problem is that people do not develop applications to handle all that power. It's like having a sports car but not being able to drive it out on the track. Like, what are you supposed to do with unlimited power, all this power that you have access to? If people can, you know, port more programs to your phone that can handle this power, even at the expense of battery life, I'd be all for it. But they're probably not going to. And if they did, it most likely, like it, well, you might get some iOS version. Oh, but A has another question here. Do y'all like Sony Xperia phones? I've never gone hands on with the Sony Xperia phone, but I do like them from afar. They look great. Would I personally use one? Maybe. Now, Sony Xperia does have a few problems. One, they're not officially sold here in the United States, but of course you can get them on Amazon on the Sony website, but they're not sold to the carrier. To the carrier, so you're gonna have to pay the full price. The other problem is that you may not like the aspect ratio. I think it's 21:9, so it's super skinny, which is great for some people. I like my phone to be wider; it's easier to type. The cameras are great though. It's a bit more manual than say the Google Pixel, so it's not gonna have all the AI enhanced features or whatever. Um, and the software support's not gonna be that good. You got 2 years of software support, but you can probably find a custom ROM later on. You can of course install your own launchers, and of course Android is at a stable enough point that like Android. Can someone tell me a key feature between Android 15 and Android 16? Like if you get enough security updates, maybe 4 years of security updates, that's about $250 a year worth of phone if you were to keep your phone for you and you want to upgrade, just to save away from security holes that you might find. Yeah, it's great. Great deal. It's great for photography. It's great for content creation. It has the latest chips in it because it's an Android phone with the Snapdragon chip. I mean, let's go over. And I do like that it has the micro SD card slot, and it has the headphone jack, which it is like probably one of the only premium phones that have those two features combined. And I do like their budget phones as well. And yeah, the budget phones do have two cameras, but they're budget phones and not the phones that Apple is trying to sell, which are flagship phones. $799. That is a flagship phone price over there. Here, let's go over to the Sony phone. I don't know why they're not showing me the phones. That's another thing. It's Sony doesn't even push their phones. Like I've never been able to touch a Sony phone because they don't have them in Best Buy. They don't have them in T-Mobile. They don't have them in AT&T. Of course, they don't have their own store like Samsung and Apple have, and Microsoft used to have. How am I supposed to go hands on with these phones? I'm not paying some Sony money for this. Okay, these phones cost more than a PlayStation. But anyway, and also Sony can't name to save their life. If I were to ask you or any random person on the street, which, if I were to ask someone a random question on the street, people on the street don't know stuff. Okay, you can ask them what the capital of the United States is, and they'll be like, "We have a capital? Like what is wrong with you?" Anyway, I was going to ask you something. This is the Xperia 1 versus the Xperia 10. Which phone do you think is the flagship? Without looking at them, because you can obviously see you got the Xperia 10 that looks like it was made in 2018. Usually the higher number is the better phone. But that's not how Sony does it. Now, I don't know if that's how it is in Japan, but every other Asian phone company has figured out how to count, so I don't know what Sony's doing over here. Okay, you don't see Oppo over here being like, oh, well, see, our phone 1 is actually better than our phone 10. Now, they might skip a few numbers like 4 because it sounds like poop in Chinese or something like that. Or deaf in Chinese or something like that. But at least they know how to count 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 3, 1 plus 5, and so on and so forth. Sony, I don't know what they're doing over here. But anyway, this would be the Xperia flagship phone, the Xperia 1 Mark 7. You see, you don't even see Mark in here. Okay, but that's what they call it. You don't call it the VII. Do I think that Sony has the best hardware? Now, that is a good question. They have, I'd say, the best physical raw camera hardware. Let's actually look at the specs because Sony themselves can't give it to us. But they used to have a 4K display. They don't do that anymore, unfortunately. But you got 12 gigabytes of RAM, 5,000 mAh batteries. Very good. That's essentially what my phone has as well. So that's top of the line specs. And you got your SIM card and your SD card slot, which is good as well. You got Gorilla Glass Victus 2. It says up to 4 major Android updates, whatever. But looking at the hardware here, you got a loudspeaker and a headphone jack in high res, so it's not going to be like a headphone jack on some cheap Motorola phone over here. You can record up to 4K 120 frames per second, which you can do that on here, but you have to use like a pro mode. I think you can just do this in regular mode as well. You even have the zoom. It's actually zoom, I believe, where zooms from 3 times to 5 times zoom optically. So it moves like a camera moves. That's how some of their phones do. Instead of, digitally cropping. So on my phone, I have a 3 times camera and a 5 times camera. No, and a 10 times camera, sorry. So in between 3 and 10, if I want to zoom in, say 4 times, that's using the 3 times zoom camera, and then it'll kind of crop in a little bit. And thankfully, Samsung's a smart company and doesn't say, oh, that's a fictional 4th camera or whatever. No. Okay, Apple tried that. That doesn't work. Do I like PlayStation or Xbox? I don't game, but I would say the Xbox. Because I don't game, you can install Microsoft Windows. You got your Windows Store on the Xbox, so that's great. But here we do have a PlayStation, and I have touched it once, and I was up by 14 in Rocket League and lost. So someone else played to go up by 14, and then I lost the game for them when he went to the bathroom. So not the best showing there. Anyway, going back to the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 7. I mean, it is pretty good hardware. I will say, great screen, great cameras. Doesn't even have a punch hole display, so it uses a strip at the top, and they do that so that they can have the full screen, no holes obstructing it. It's really for people who care about content. But, the people who care about this may be producing content, but it's not, the people who really care about movies, or who are really into cinema or something like this, are not going to be sitting there watching their movie on their 6.5-inch screen. Now, I will. Heck, I will watch a movie in picture-in-picture in Tubi. Okay, I will watch it in like the 1x2-inch screen. That's fine with me. I won't even look at it. I'll just have it playing in headphones. I like to have, people talking. It's a lot better than music. I will watch the YouTube videos the same way. I don't really care. I'm not sitting there like CinemaSins or Alex Myers, any of these other movie review channels and TV review channels that I really like, because it means I can watch the shows without paying for them legally, without having to pay for like Disney Plus or anything like that. Which I'm gonna have to renew the subscription so I can watch Electric Bloom and review it for you guys, or I can record it on Disney Channel. But, for some reason Disney Channel thinks, hey guys, instead of playing all these great shows that we have in our catalog, we're going to play 50 million episodes of Big City Greens. Nobody wants to see that show. Not one person has said, hey guys, you know what I want to do today? At 3 in the morning, and 4 in the morning, and 5 in the morning, and 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Do you want to do? I want to watch Big City Greens. Big City Greens. No one wants to watch that show. Cut it out. Go show something from like 2008. It's fine. It's a lot better than Big City Greens. No one wants to see that.
Battery percentages, then, well, actually, the iPhone Air's
doing here. What is this? Oh, this is Instagram. Oh, okay.
Battery is already starting to slide comfortably into the 80s.
Which is not good. Because full well that the people who are buying the iPhone Air are going to be these, like, social media people. Okay? Like, even more social media than people already. Like, they're going to be like, hey, I'm going to take my pictures. Hey, guys, don't I look cute in this in this hat? Hey, guys, take my picture. Which is really ridiculous because, one, it only has one camera on the back of it. And it's super thin. That's what they're doing. Okay? It's like going on a diet, and then you take a picture, and everyone, you get the likes. That's just what this phone is. It's like you don't even have to go on a diet because the phone should never gain weight. If it starts, expanding, then you have a huge problem, a big problem that your phone's about to blow up, and that would not be a good thing.
But also B, there is, at least right now, almost zero difference between my iPhone 17 Pro Max and the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which kind of brings me to the other side of this eSIM coin. That given that I'm in the UK, one of the countries that has physical SIMs and therefore smaller batteries, are these new phones even going to be an improvement? While it's great that Apple has increased...
I mean, it's an improvement by 1%, that could save you once, maybe. Now, looking at the state of things here, the 17 Pro is at the same battery percentage as the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Obviously, S26 Ultra is going to crush when it comes out. But right now, you can see that Samsung has a 5-point percentage disadvantage to the 17 Pro Max.
Increasing the size of the batteries for eSIM users, is that the only reason that they're able to say these new Pro iPhones have this enormous leap in battery? Do you just not get one of the key settings?
But honestly, is 100 milliamp hours an enormous leap in battery? No. And so what's one problem that Samsung and Apple are complicit in? Which is, why are you keeping your phones at 5,000 milliamp hour batteries or whatever Apple has? There's like, Apple doesn't publish this, so it's like 4,000 something something. Uh, like, Samsung, come on, you have been doing this since I was in 8th grade. I remember watching the Samsung Galaxy S20 series live on my computer in 8th grade. Your phone on the S20 Ultra battery, actually, no, I think the S10 Plus 5G had this battery capacity of 5,000 milliamp hours as well. You've been doing this since I was in 7th grade. You have companies out there that have 7,000 milliamp hour batteries. You have companies out there that have larger batteries in their folding phones. Like, what are you doing? Like, please get bigger.
Selling points of the phone if you're buying in.
Like, some of these companies don't even care about optimization, and they got crushed. Samsung is decent at optimization. You slap a 7,000 milliamp hour battery into your Ultra phone, keeps, of course, the same screen size and relative brightness, you'll be destroying these iPhones. You don't even need to optimize. You'll be running decks on these things while playing Asphalt 9 while watching TikTok on a second monitor. You will still be destroying these iPhones.
Well, most countries. That's what we need to get to the bottom of. Now, the other thing that's very surprising is that even though we're now closing in on 3.5 hours into this test, the iPhone 17 isn't really outperforming the iPhone 16 at all. Apple
Actually, it's not. I mean, the iPhone 16 is beating the iPhone 17.
Claimed an absolutely staggering 36% longer lifespan. So even though you kind of expect not to see the fully optimal figure in real life, it's very surprising that we're not seeing any improvement right now. Bear in mind, we've done a lot of things to control this test. Like, all phones are on their latest software. The room is set to a
Which, I'm not sure about that, but
controlled 16 degrees C to be the average of indoor and outdoor temps with a fan
16 degrees C, I'm going to put that into freedom units for you guys. 16 Celsius to freedom units is 60.8 degrees. Who has their house at 60 degrees? For what is this?
blowing at them at all times, etc., etc. And so this should be a 100%
All right, so now
apples to apples comparison. The only thing I can assume is that because Apple measures battery just using video playback time, which is like
that is a totally useless stat. Such a made up stat. Video playback time. And of course the video is offline. You can't even get videos offline. They probably use the same stat on the iPod video from like 2005. Hey guys, this phone can play back 40 hours of video if you disconnect it from the internet, and if you disconnect it from Wi-Fi, and if you disconnect it from Bluetooth, and you play your screen at 30% dimness, 30% brightness, and you have your on like 30% audio, and you're in a nice cool room. In fact, you're in Antarctica. Okay, you're in Antarctica and you're watching a video of penguins. They don't move much. It's basically just a black screen, and once an hour a penguin will pop up, but penguins are mostly black, so we can kind of like dim those pixels as well. So it's just kind of like white blobs floating around the screen every hour on an hour. And you'll get 40 hours of video playback. Like, no one uses their phone like this. No one. When you're watching a video, you're probably using GPS on a bus or something, or they're using it in their house. Maybe they're gonna call a friend or watching it together. People like to do video calls, which what's it called? Not iMessage. Anyway, whatever Apple calls their video thing, their video calls, and the people do their video chats, and there's some of the weirdest chats I've ever seen in my life. Like, they can never show their faces. They just like, show random stuff on camera. Like, hey guys, look at this wall. It's like Snapchat, but on video. Anyway.
The thing that would benefit from the new ProMotion display on the iPhone 17, maybe that figure doesn't very well.
The air is getting just crushed over here. S25 Ultra, which is a fair comparison because the air is bigger than these phones. If you're bigger, then you should at least have. Oh, look at this. You're down by 14 points. Down by 2 touchdowns against the 17 Pro. The 17 S25 Ultra is beating the Air by 2 touchdowns and 2-point conversions. Going after this, down by 16 points over here. The iPhone 17 is beating it 68-56. Sounds like a college football game over here, down by 2 touchdowns again. So, no, not 2 touchdowns. That's 12 points. So it's that's a field goal and a touchdown and another field goal. They missed the extra point. The kicker is trash. Okay, he made 2 field goals, but he's not that good at kicking extra points. I don't know. It got blocked.
I'll capture the varied, messy reality of using
Hey guys,
lots
the
of
iPhone
different kinds of
17
apps. It doesn't
is a
very
historic
well
moment,
capture
guys,
the
is at 67. So, historic moment for teens around the world.
varied, messy reality of using lots of different kinds of apps. So we are now approaching the final.
Wait, is this guy like he's not switching between the applications? Well, he's switching, but like every hour and hour. No one sits down and is like, all right, guys, got this phone schedule typed out. Got this. We're gonna do an hour of YouTube today. Then we're gonna do an hour of Instagram. Then we're gonna do an hour of Bible reading. Then we're gonna do an hour of scrolling. No one does that. They'll be like, okay, we're gonna open up my verse of the day. Wait, guys, gotta get my mirror selfie. If you're into that, gotta get your mirror selfie with your verse of the day. You'd be like smiling. You'd be like, hey guys, God is so good in my life. And then, of course, after you got the selfie, you take a performative photo of you with your Bible application, with your physical Bible open, with like you have stock in Sharpie or something, so you highlighted that poor thing to death. Can't even read it. And then you got you take your picture, upload that, and then maybe you'll scroll for like 20 minutes. But of course, you got people in the group chat or chatting you. Like the group chat didn't die. Now, of course, this has never happened to me, but, like I said, I know what's in the Brio magazines. I can predict what's in the Brio magazines. I can also predict what people are doing on their phones. I can predict this kind of stuff, right? I'm like an expert. It's never happened to me, but I can just predict it. It's just based on vibes. Anyway, after you post your Bible stuff, you're in the group chat, you're talking about stuff in the group chat, and people chatting you. And of course, you gotta check your snaps, because you have a snap score of 460,000. Okay, you combined have a snap score higher than United States national debt, which at the time of taping was 35 trillion. Now it's 37 trillion. Of course, all you people in the video have a snap score of that. You didn't get that snap score by sitting around and doing nothing. No, you got like 10 snaps from one person, and you have 100 of these people we got to check. And if you don't check them, it will be World War III. Okay, that's how people use their phones. You got people Snapchatting. You got people, texting at the same time. You got people doing videos. I mean, it is hard work. It is insanely hard work, and I do not. Actually, I do. I envy you all. I envy you all because while I'm sitting here talking about football scores of a cell phone to one person who is watching this, you people out there have cracked the formula. You have cracked the formula of being always busy, but always online, and that gets you thousands and thousands of people who care. Yeah, and move on.
5-hour mark, which is actually kind of crazy in itself. Like when I first started doing these battery tests years ago, some phones were starting to die at this 5-hour point. And yeah,
embarrassing. Imagine my phone dies in 5 hours. Could not be me. I've never actually been able to break over 5 hours of on time. It just dies. I have it plugged in the charger. My phone hasn't died in like a long time.
Yeah, here we have the iPhone 17 Pro Max currently in first place with 73%.
Yeah, beating the 16 Pro Max by a whopping 2%. And the S25 Ultra is only behind by 4. It used to be behind by 5.
The 16 Pro Max still on 71, and then the Samsung very close behind with a sweet 69. So now, after subjecting myself to an hour and a half on X, which is more than any sane man should have to do, let's unwind by opening some Pokemon booster packs. One thing I was quite
no one has ever used the same app for an hour and a half.
Concerned about, but that doesn't actually seem to be causing any issues here, is iOS 26. When I was running the beta on my own phone, this software didn't just drain my battery, it waterboarded it. But I guess now we're in the final release, the optimizations have come.
It's like, what are you doing? Opening a Ziploc bag over here? Like, what is this? Wait, what is that? What?
Through. And I gotta give credit, considering that there are now like a bajillion lighting calculations occurring every time you do simple things like pull down your notification shade. It's pretty impressive that it's not completely killing the battery, potentially helped by the new adaptive power mode, which makes the software now much more aggressively cut down.
Also, 17 Pro is getting killed. Oh my gosh. 53%? Now the air is just take that out behind the fence and shoot it. Goodness gracious. It is down by 20 points. 20 points. That is 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points and 2 field goals.
On background apps and processes. Now it's time to really cause some pain. We're going to open up the cameras, flip over to the front, and record 4K video at 60 frames per second. And this is one of those tasks in which...
Yeah, but, this is realistic, except the one thing you got wrong is that no one's in a car. Okay, everyone films these selfie videos in cars complaining or something. You got to be in a car. You can't be in a 60-degree studio. And when you're in a car, he's in England, so, it's probably raining. He probably doesn't have a car. You have to take the train like a peasant. But in the United States, if you're in your car and you're out there whining about the state of the world or something, it's probably like 80 degrees, and your hands are greasy from touching like your Popeye's chicken or something. So that would be a more realistic scenario.
Optimization is only going to help you so much. You
Also,
can pretty
the
quickly.
air is getting just, oh my goodness, it's 42-19. There's some, Alabama over Georgia. That's what's gonna happen next week. Alabama over Georgia, down by 23 points.
Notice the iPhone Air starting to drown, which makes sense if you think about it. Like, this phone has a screen that's larger than the base iPhone, so that's going to need more power. It's got the A19 Pro chip, which
at 4%.
Again will probably need more power than the A19.
Also, notice how the Samsung has caught up. iPhone 16 Pro Max, 17 Pro Max at 42%, Samsung at 39%. We had a 5-point gap, but Samsung went for some 2-point conversions, and now they're only down by a field goal.
In the base phone, when you're pushing it, it's got less power to give with a smaller...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What a great show. He rickrolled us 7 times.
Sized battery, all topped off with titanium sides that aren't going to get rid of heat nearly as well.
The Air has titanium, but the Pro doesn't? Imagine being... Why?
As the aluminium that you get on all 3 other new iPhones. And, the hotter the phone, the faster the battery depletes. And so it only takes until...
Yeah, my phone gets so hot. It's probably because, of course, you got titanium in here. Samsung's probably going to switch that, talk about how they found aluminum at the bottom of Mount Everest and how this is, great aluminum. The best aluminum. No one's had any aluminum that's, better. And it came from some artisan that, like, they banged it out by hand. Okay, and they used all their carbon credits to get this aluminum. It's not like that regular aluminum you can get in the foil or in the pan. No, sir. It's not even that 6,000 series aluminum. I'm an aluminum expert because I studied it to defend Ford's decision back in 4th grade. Before the Nikki war, before the getting chased behind the woods, before the presidential debates and stuff like that, and before, of course, Evangelical War 3 over in high school. In elementary school, I was pro Ford, and all the other kids were pro Chevy. That was the first battle. So we transitioned from car defender to, of course, spy to I guess some sort of pastor or something, and then back to our roots, back to spy. Anyway, back.
7 hours 18 minutes for the Air to die completely.
Yeah.
That's a pretty early KO. And I'm
going to give it probably like 7 hours, 6 hours and 50 minutes or something like that, because he's using these apps like football. These people be watching videos while texting while listening to Spotify. No one sits and listens to Spotify. I mean, honestly, this might not be fair because people used to do Spotify with screen off, but it kind of shakes out because no one sits and listens to Spotify just for an hour. It sits there and looks at it. Okay, no one sits there and looks at their phone. That's great Spotify. All right, I'm just going to sit here and look at all of it. No one does that.
Point, I'd say let's just fast forward this test till the end so we can get to the results. But
let's go.
I do just want to make clear that is a very different result to what
Samsung's back down by 4. I don't know how this happened. I guess they got the 1-point safety.
Apple was claiming for the Air. Apple said that this phone should have the same battery life as the iPhone 16
Hey guys, look, 32-23. Samsung is crushing the 17 Pro there.
Pro, but that phone should last longer than the iPhone 16, which in itself is already leagues ahead of what the Air...
Forgot about this. Yeah, Apple themselves said that the Air had the same battery life as the 16 Pro Max, which the 16 Pro Max is blowing out the Air 35-0. So, and that's being generous because I probably was at 37-0. So, Apple lied. Big shock. Maybe it was the 16 Pro, which I don't see on the screen. for some reason. I don't know why you just have it. I mean, you just ask Apple for one, but here's the 16 at 18. So let's put in between to say 25. Okay, you only lost 25 to nothing instead of 35 to nothing. Big womp. Like, seriously, that's pitiful.
Air's just done. So maybe the C1X modem that only the Air gets may give it
Also,
some power.
Who sits there and records video? What are you doing? Who sits there and tapes audio like that, just straight? Other than me, like no one does that.
Power efficiency gains when you're on cellular, but
What game is this?
how much difference?
Oh my goodness! I think that's the game application that I reviewed. The most laggy game. It took me 5 clicks to paint a house.
Can that make? This test makes me very doubtful that the Air will actually give most people pro levels of battery. Oh, there's the iPhone 16, and then the iPhone 7.
Oh, guys, it's pretty close. We're within 1-2%. Well, who do you think will die first? The 16 Pro Max or S25 Ultra? Come on, S25 Ultra. Hold on, you can do this. And also, this is not a very good showing from Apple. If you think about this, like the S25 Ultra, which might as well be last year's phone, is within 5% again of the most pro maxed out phone, and might even win if this test was done differently. Because people don't. They're going to do my hour with Instagram. They're going to do an hour with gaming. No one does it. No, we're going to do an hour with Spotify. That's not how this works.
17, and after a large amount of time.
So who died first? I think the Pro died first. I'm gonna put that in slow mo. Oh yeah, Pro obviously died first. It was Samsung was up by 3.
Then the iPhone 17, and after a.
Interesting that Samsung almost gave up their 3-point lead, made it a 2-point lead, which they got safety, I guess. Speaking of, who's winning the Astros game? Oh, top of the 9th, 6-4. Astros have a chance. Hopefully, no one scores the top of the 9th. So let's go Astros.
A large amount of time, the other phones do eventually follow suit. So 17.
Wow. 17 Pro almost lasted 13 hours.
Pro goes onto the ESR Qi 2.2 wireless charger, our sponsor, to see how fast it can juice back up when you're.
That is someone's entire phone. It basically doubled the iPhone Air. You could have gotten 2 iPhone Airs and you'd be stuck at 25% when the iPhone 17 Pro finally dies.
Giving it its maximum 25 watts of power. And let's talk results. So, squarely in 7th position is the iPhone Air with 7 hours 18. And I don't think that's terrible battery life. It's about the upper end of what I expected, given how thin the thing is. It just really makes it tangible how much you are giving up to have a thin phone. And it pales in comparison to even 6th position, the iPhone 16, which managed to last 8.
Imagine, and full well, there are going to be people who go upgrade from the 16 to the 17 Air. And it's just like, you gave up 2 hours of battery life to be trendy?
Whole extra 2.5 hours, which means the iPhone 17 is.
Oh my gosh.
Which puts the iPhone.
That is like $2,000 just of stuff he's throwing around.
17 in 5th position with 10 hours 28. And I'm glad to see that it is conclusively better than the 16s, but I gotta say, I did also expect that gap to be larger. 4th is the iPhone 17 Pro, which I can show you while it's on this charger. Again, pretty small step up from the 17. I mean, this has been true for every single generation in my experience. The battery life you get is not really about whether you go Pro or not. It's really just what size of phone do you get. Because that leaves...
And cameras. Don't forget the optical zoom over here. Like, everyone just ignores that the iPhone 17 only has 2 cameras. People are like, it's fine. Whatever. If any Android company tried to pull that, anyone, even like New doesn't have a zoom camera. If New tried to pull this and they sold a phone for $700, they would get drugged. Rightly so. If LG came back and they wanted to make a phone, they did this. Drug. If BlackBerry did this, if BlackBerry tried to sell a phone for $1,000 and they didn't have an optical zoom camera, drug. Apple's the only company that can get away with selling $8,000 phone with 1 camera. I mean, even Cat makes a phone. They make a flip phone. And like a regular phone too. If Cat tried to sell some premium $700 phone and they didn't have an optical zoom camera, they would get drugged, and I've dragged them too.
All of the big guys. So in 3rd is the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra with a
12 hours over here. Let's go. 11 hours, 58 minutes, whatever. I mean,
pretty monstrous 11 hours 58. Then the iPhone 16 Pro Max did even better.
I mean, No, it's only about 15 minutes. It looks a lot better because Samsung officially hit 12. That's only 17 minutes.
It wasn't a massive jump, but an extra 15 minutes longer is still something, which leaves the iPhone
Yeah, that's great. You can watch 3 more TikTok rants, and here we go.
17 Pro Max, top of the pile with 13 hours
13 hours. That's like an hour over Samsung, which is great. Good for them.
to the minute, which is on one hand very impressive, and it's good to see the benchmark constantly being pushed out. But at the same time, this does reinforce my suspicion that the whole enormous leap claim was referring to the eSIM only models, who in this test would have lasted approximately a whopping 13 hours 45, and that for anyone not getting those
I mean, that's about an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, I guess you could call that an enormous leap. Now let's cut over back to our tech headlines again from TheTechBoy.org. We did a review of this convert audio free offline. I want you guys to read it, so I'm not going to go through it here. Check it out. It's a phone application, and the internet has a problem. The internet has a huge problem. It is horrible for looking things up, which is like your one job. You want to look up how cable TV works, how cell phones make calls, any of these like technical questions, and that's why I went to the Gamebox studio to go like behind the scenes of all the tech that they did back there. And it's like you'll get a whole bunch of ads for cable companies and internet companies and cell phone companies, of course, Apple, and Samsung. If you really want to find out how something works, it's really hard because it's hidden. And once you get past these ads, you get past these like listicles and these blog posts from companies. I want to tell you something. Like I was researching what kind of technology did they use in the radio in the 50s. And guess what? The top search result is from some cloud company selling their cloud radio software. Which one is just annoying. Like imagine the internet goes out and now your radio station doesn't work. And two, obviously they were not using the cloud in the 50s. The internet didn't exist, and yet radio still existed. What were they using? What kind of microphones were they using? And of course, now we have digitally produced radio. You have computer programs that use it in the production. But even this in the 2000s, they were running their radio host programs on the cloud. Like I'm running this like a podcast. Like this is a live stream, so it makes sense for my program to be in the cloud. I mean, if I can't get out live, then it doesn't really matter if it's not offline. But I mean, you're on the radio. Invention I started in 1987. None of the kids are on the internet, dialing into AOL. And even if they were, it's not like they had Spotify back then. They couldn't access these audio episodes. They didn't have that bandwidth. So obviously they had programs for this. But these blog listicles that are SEO optimized but information light, whose one job is to give like some brief topical overview of the history, and then they'll just sell their software to you, or their solution or service or whatever. And this goes not even just in the hacking world, where you'll look up some hacking tutorial and you get 50 million VPN ads about the hypothetical. It's kind of like how people talk about, the spirit, the supernatural, these forces in the world that can move things or whatever. That's how they talk about hackers. Hackers can do this. They can access your systems unless you have this technology available to us. But they don't really tell you how or when or why or, like give any details or specifics. It's very vague. And this problem is also compounded by these companies that are doing the listicles, they're doing the blog posts. They also will do Google search optimization ads. So they'll be at the top of Google results. And the one solution to this, the one problem to this, it's not to go back to books or the encyclopedia, which I do wish that we had offline encyclopedia. Bring back Encarta. The solution to this is artificial intelligence. Perplexity. I really like Perplexity. Can give me some of those answers. ChatGPT can give me some of these answers. Even Google's AI mode can give me some of these answers because they can sift through all the junk and it will give you the answer. And that is, it is a new way to surf the internet. We have so much information here. It's information overload. And now at the tip of our fingertips, we have AI, and we should embrace this to search. Of course, trust, but of course, verify. Check your sources. So what I'm saying is you use these search engines. I'm still a fan of Google, so I'm going to throw Gemini in there too. To do your research, and you can ask it to find you the sources. And you can go and read through those sources yourself. I remember I read about this article about someone who was using some sort of advertisement to track phones. All these news articles, all these listicles, all the press, of course, was like, wow, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. But they didn't link to the original study. They didn't show me the PDF. I put it in Perplexity or ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever. and it was able to show me it, and I got the PDF, and then I was able to get it summarized. It's the new way to search the internet, and we should embrace it. You have all these people, and I was probably like this for like 2 months, like, oh, because I thought it was like some sort of cheating tool, because that's what everyone was showing it for. But you have these people on Reddit, and of course online and in person, who are just probably annoying to be around. Who are like, yeah, I'm above this technology. I'm better than this. The effect it has on the environment and the water, and I miss human creativity. It's stealing and it's plagiarism. This annoying. That's what they are. And it's kind of like how my foreign policy, for a small brief period of this company's history, of course, coincided with, and this is probably why I had all those, those clashes, especially like in November 9th, 2022, was just, doing what the parents wanted. Like, not my parents, but like the parents as a whole, like advertising this as like a parent-friendly thing. If in that time period, would I review the parental control application on the phone? Yes. Or, like essentially being like their poster board or whatever. That was essentially the foreign policy. Now, that foreign policy had to quickly change after I went to public school, because as you guys know, that horrible policy, horrible. Don't try it, kids. Do not try that. You get destroyed. You you have to have your own internal decision making capability. You can't just be calling, hey guys, yeah. You got to be like the United States military. They can make their own decisions. They're not calling back to their commanders on every field or whatever. No, that's not how this works. But it's probably people like that who are just playing for the cameras, just like the people on Instagram and in church. They're playing for the cameras. Hey, yeah, playing for the cameras on their own knees, playing for the cameras. These people are also playing for the cameras by being annoying and disliking artificial intelligence. They don't actually care. They're taking these like hardline moral stances, like blocking a freeway or something in defense of some ridiculous issue, like these activists. That's what they're doing. They're taking some hardline, ridiculous stance, and they want people to go alongside of them. Hey guys, it's code tracing. Yeah, well, it's stealing, but you put it on the internet. Like, what were you expecting? Like, you just thought they were going to sit there and leave it there for free? Just look at it. Oh, that's great. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how your brain works. You see something, you think that's how you get an idea. But you don't actually care about this. You don't. You're just mad. You want to have something to be activist, have an activist. You don't want to get an actual job. You just want to cry about AI or something. Anyway, before we cut this out, we're not doing the spinner because we found actual people, and hopefully they're watching the stream. Anyway, let's cut to our teen of the week. For some reason, it's not uploading, so I'm gonna re-upload the video. I'll make sure it's the right video. I don't want to accidentally dox anyone over here.
Hi! Hi guys! Hi guys! I'm biggest fans! This is Devin. We're biggest fans of the TechBoy. Subscribe to him right now!
I don't know if you heard that, but you probably didn't. So I'm going to upload this to the browser. I can hear it in my headphones. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Where's my video? Hopefully you can play videos in your browser. Wait, why is it playing as audio? That's ridiculous. I am not paying Microsoft 99 cents to play a video. It's nonsense over here. All right, let's see if it opens in Windows Media Player Legacy. Nope, it still opens as audio. So I'm gonna have to pull it up on my phone. I made a promise. Promise is made. Promise is kept. We're gonna keep this open here. No spinner. New rule. Okay, except for this. Like if you're a real person, you have to at least be tagged. So I'm checking through my list of people. That can be in the videos. We curate the list. We of course make sure that the videos are appropriate. Can be streaming crazy nonsense over on the channel. All right, so we got the video. I'm going to share this to. I guess Google Drive. Thank goodness for 5G. That's what this podcast is streaming off of because the Wi-Fi is pretty spotty. Thank goodness for 5G. Um, so this should be in the Drive pretty fast. And these are our teens of the week. Hopefully they can are watching the video, or if not, we'll watch it later. I'll even clip it for them because I wouldn't expect them to sit around and watch me ramble for an hour and 34 minutes. Goodness gracious. And oh wow, this video is uploading fast. It's only 34 megabytes, but goodness gracious, this is what 5G has come to. I'm such a fan of 5G. People were saying 5G is useless. Oh, I don't know what they're talking about. 5G has made me have apps on here so fast. I can download multiple files at a time. It is very useful. 5G, great invention. And I'm glad my phone has it. And imagine having an iPhone that doesn't have it. Like, just poor. Okay, the video is being processed for playback. It should be up here. Now it's on Google themselves to do this. Yes, let's go. Here is our teen of the week. I guess teens of the week segment. Make sure you guys check it out. And all right, let's see what our teens of the week have to say for us today. Yeah, there we go.
Hi guys. I'm biggest fan. This is Devin. We're biggest fans of the TechBoy. Subscribe to him right now.
Yeah, guys, you heard the message. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And finally, my ads worked. I got recognized. So I didn't actually do the vlog method to get random people in videos again. That is a absolutely successful method. It is. I think it's perfect. I only failed once, but I didn't actually try on that one. So it is the most perfect method ever. This one actually, I guess they recognized me from the ad, which means they clicked the website link and they actually went through and saw a video. So that is great. Great news for the site. Make sure you guys check it out. Of course, at thetechboy.org/teen. I'm going to drop that in the chat. Check this out, guys. Of course, thetechboy.org/teen. You can be in the video, be like them. And like they said, subscribe. The best channel ever. God bless. Tech talk to you later. God bless America.